I once believed that to have wealth, I must plead, bargain, and wait for the universe to notice me. I prayed with desperation, spoke words of lack, and filled my thoughts with the echo of what I did not have. And as surely as a seed produces after its kind, my life reflected those barren thoughts. Then one day I awoke to the truth. The giver had never withheld from me. I had been shutting the door with my own words. For every time I said, I need, I declared my emptiness, and emptiness answered. I stood before the mirror of my own soul and spoke a new decree. I said, I now speak from the place of abundance. I live in the riches of divine supply. Money, success, and golden opportunities flow to me with ease and grace. I felt the weight of those words take root, as though the very air had shifted to carry them to their fulfillment. No more begging, no more waiting. I knew the law was already at work, for what is claimed in faith is instantly formed in the unseen. Words are not mere sounds carried by the air. They are living seeds planted into the fertile soil of the universe, and each one produces after its kind. When we speak from lack, we are unknowingly affirming to the infinite supply around us that we have chosen emptiness, and the law, being impersonal and exact, reflects that choice back to us. A person who says, I can't afford this, or I never have enough, is not just describing their current condition, they are creating the blueprint for more of the same. Every utterance builds or destroys, opens or closes the door to prosperity. This is why those who constantly complain of shortage rarely see their fortunes change, for they are watering the very weeds they wish to uproot. To speak from abundance is to step into the consciousness of one who already possesses the thing desired. It is to know that supply exists in infinite measure, and that it is drawn to you by right of divine inheritance. When one says, I live in wealth and plenty, even if their bank account is empty at the moment, they are not lying, they are speaking the higher truth that precedes the manifestation. The physical world is always the last place a change appears. The invisible realm responds first, rearranging circumstances to align with the vibration of your words. Consider the difference between two people standing before an unopened door. One says, I wish I could go inside, but it's locked, while the other says, I have the key, the door opens easily for me. The first will stand outside indefinitely, waiting for some external force to grant them access. The second will take hold of the key, their confident, aligned words, and step through without resistance. The door itself does not choose, it simply opens for the one who uses the right key. So it is with the law of supply. The right key is the word spoken with faith and expectancy. Speaking from abundance does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to be limited by the temporary conditions you see. If the garden is bare, you do not declare it a wasteland, you plant seeds and speak of the harvest to come. You understand that the harvest is inevitable because the seeds are sown. Each word of plenty, prosperity, and gratitude is such a seed. When you continually affirm, everything I need flows to me now in perfect ways, you are not only inviting the flow, you are aligning yourself to notice, receive, and act upon the opportunities that appear as a result. Words have a magnetic quality. They draw to you people, ideas, and circumstances that match their tone. The one who speaks from abundance walks through life expecting good, and because they expect it, they see it everywhere. By making every spoken word a declaration of wealth rather than a confession of lack, you become the author of a new story, one in which the ending is written in gold. Begging is the language of one who believes they are separate from their good, while affirming is the speech of one who knows their good is already theirs by divine right. When a person begs the universe for wealth, they send out the vibration of lack and desperation, as though the supply were scarce and must be wrested from an unwilling giver. This posture keeps the desired good at arm's length, for the law responds not to our words alone, but to the feeling and belief behind them. Begging declares, I do not yet have, and so the law mirrors back more situations that confirm that absence. It is like asking for water while holding a closed cup Nothing can fill it until it is opened. Affirming, however, is a declaration from a place of possession. It does not plead, it commands with the authority of truth. The one who affirms says, "I am prosperous now," and not because they see the evidence, but because they know that the unseen reality always precedes the visible. In that knowing, they open the cup, allowing the inflow to take place without resistance. This is the great difference between hoping and knowing. Hope may still contain doubt, but knowing carries the energy of certainty, which the universe must obey. When you affirm wealth, you are aligning your words, your thoughts, and your emotional state with the vibration of prosperity. This alignment acts as a signal, drawing to you opportunities, ideas, and connections that match the reality you have claimed. You cease to chase after money or struggle for recognition because you understand that your word sets in motion the chain of events that will bring the substance into form. The law works in perfect order, and it does not require your worry to complete its task, only your faith. Begging places all the power outside yourself. It is the belief that wealth is something another must give you, whether that other is a person, a circumstance, or the universe itself. Affirming places the power within, acknowledging that you and the source of supply are not two separate entities, but one continuous flow. In affirming, you become a conscious co-creator rather than a passive petitioner. You take ownership of your role in the manifestation process, knowing that what you declare with faith will inevitably find its way into your life. When you stop begging and start affirming, you break the habit of speaking from fear and uncertainty. You begin to speak only that which you desire to see made manifest. Your words become a deliberate tool, shaping your reality instead of reflecting your doubts. Over time, this shift in language and belief transforms not just your outer circumstances, but also your inner state. You no longer feel like a beggar at the gates of life. You stand as the rightful heir to all that is good, claiming it with calm assurance, and watching as the world rushes to deliver it into your hands. To act as if it is already yours is to step into the vibration of completion before the evidence appears. It is the art of living from the end, of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and allowing that state to call forth its own reflection in the outer world. When you carry yourself as one who already possesses wealth, success, and abundance, you signal to the law of supply that you are ready to receive, for the law can only bring to you that which matches your present state of being. If your posture, tone, and decisions all speak of insufficiency, then insufficiency is what will continue to manifest. But when every action is taken from the stance of abundance, abundance becomes inevitable. Acting as if is not mere pretending. It is embodying the truth that your good already exists in the unseen and is simply moving toward you in divine order. The invisible comes before the visible, just as the seed is planted before the tree appears. You would not walk through a field of freshly sown grain and declare there will be no harvest because you see only bare soil. You would walk in confidence, knowing the growth is underway. So it is with wealth, though the bank account may not yet display the desired numbers, you walk, speak, and make choices as though it already does, for in the higher reality, it is already so. This mindset changes the way you respond to life. You stop shrinking back from opportunities for fear of failure or lack of resources, and instead step forward with the composure of someone who can afford to succeed. You make investments of time, energy, and vision in alignment with where you are going, not where you have been. You dress, speak, and carry yourself with the confidence of one who belongs in the rooms they enter. People respond to that energy, and doors open accordingly, for the world mirrors your inner conviction. When you act as if, you also release the need to chase after your good. You know that the magnetic force of your inner state is drawing everything to you, and so you move through life with ease. There is no panic, no clutching at every passing chance, for you understand that what is truly yours cannot miss you. This calm assurance allows you to take inspired action rather than desperate action, which always yields greater results. Every choice becomes an affirmation of abundance. You tip generously because you know there is always more where that came from. You invest in your growth because you trust that your return is certain. You speak with the authority of one whose wealth is an established fact, even if the outer evidence is still forming. By consistently acting as if, you close the gap between the unseen and the seen, until one day you awaken to find that the life you have been living in consciousness has fully arrived in form, and it fits you perfectly because you have been wearing it all along. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen, the idea and its manifestation. When something is claimed in faith, it is already set in motion in the realm that precedes physical reality. The moment you declare with unwavering certainty that a thing is yours, the law of supply begins arranging people, circumstances, and opportunities to bring it forth. This is not wishful thinking or blind hope. It is the operation of a precise and unfailing principle. Faith does not wait for evidence to appear before it believes first, knowing that the evidence will follow as naturally as dawn follows the night. To understand this is to know that the substance of all you desire already exists, but in a form your physical eyes cannot yet perceive. Just as a seed contains the invisible pattern of the tree, your spoken word of faith contains the pattern of the wealth, success, or opportunity you have claimed. The instant the word is spoken with belief, that pattern begins to take shape in the unseen. You may not yet see the branches, but they are forming beneath the surface, drawing nourishment from the source that never fails. Faith is not passive. It is active alignment with what you know to be true. It directs your actions, your choices, and your responses. If you truly believe that the wealth you have claimed is already on its way, you will act in ways that match that belief. You will decline opportunities that feel small or limiting because you know they do not align with the larger vision. You will speak with confidence about your future because, in your heart, it is already here. You will not be swayed by delays or appearances, because your eyes are fixed on the reality beyond the surface. This is why those who have faith can move through life with calm assurance, even in uncertain times. They do not panic when the outer world shows a lack, because they know that the invisible is constantly working on their behalf. They understand that every seeming setback is merely a rearrangement, a clearing of the way for the greater good that is on its way. This unshakable certainty acts as a magnet, drawing in people and resources who respond to that steady, confident energy. The moment you speak in faith, you set a divine appointment for your desire to meet you in the physical world. That appointment may not be on your calendar, but it is fixed in the unseen, and it cannot be missed. Every step you take in the meantime is part of the path that leads you there. The outer may shift and change, but the outcome is secure. To claim in faith is to plant your flag in the reality you choose and to stand there until the world catches up, knowing that it must, because the law cannot deny the one who believes without wavering. Wealth flows through alignment because abundance is not something to be chased, it is something to be matched. The universe operates by vibration, and everything you desire already exists on its own frequency. When your words, thoughts, and beliefs are in harmony with that frequency, you naturally draw it into your life. It is not a matter of luck or chance, but of resonance. Just as a tuning fork will cause another of the same pitch to vibrate, your inner state sends out a signal that calls forth experiences, people, and opportunities in perfect harmony with it. When you speak from lack but hope for wealth, you are sending out a mixed signal, and the results will be scattered. But when every part of your being affirms prosperity, the flow becomes steady and sure. Alignment begins with the awareness that your inner world is the cause, and your outer world is the effect. If you feel unworthy of wealth, you will unconsciously repel it, no matter how hard you work. If you believe wealth is scarce or hard to come by, your life will reflect that belief. But if you see wealth as natural, plentiful, and rightfully yours, your actions, words, and energy will all express that conviction, and the law of supply will respond in kind. This is why people who live in a state of gratitude and expectation often seem lucky. Their alignment makes it easy for good to find them. When you are aligned with abundance, opportunities do not feel forced. They arrive with a sense of ease. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, and receiving ideas that feel inspired rather than strained. Your decisions come from clarity instead of fear. You no longer act from desperation, grasping at anything that comes your way, because you trust that what is truly yours cannot be lost. This calm confidence allows you to recognize the right opportunities and ignore distractions, which accelerates your progress. Alignment also means your actions are in agreement with your words. You cannot speak of wealth while acting from a mindset of scarcity and expect to receive lasting abundance. If you say, "I am prosperous," yet refuse to invest in your growth or turn away from generous giving, you are sending conflicting messages. True alignment brings your speech, thoughts, and behavior into a single, unified current. This unity creates a clear channel for wealth to flow without obstruction. When you live in alignment, you no longer see yourself as someone trying to get wealth, but as someone who already lives in the flow of it. This shift in identity is powerful because the world will always mirror who you believe yourself to be. In that state, wealth becomes as natural as breathing, and you no longer wonder where it will come from. You simply know it will. The flow becomes constant, not because you force it, but because you have become one with it, and it cannot help but pass through you in ever increasing measure.